My beloved child, I am trying to pull you away from something you keep mistaking for a seductive woman who has stepped into your life. But her real name would send a chill down your spine. She is the shadow that is wearing down your soul and your body day after day. Do I really have to beg you to open your ears and listen to me when you yourself are slowly losing who you are? I am telling you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Every time you wear your body out on purpose, you are chiseling away at the temple I built with my very breath. Your body is not an object for you to experiment with its downfall. It is the place where I dwell, yet you keep treating it like a temporary shack you can abandon at any moment. When you let yourself go, when you destroy yourself, or let fear take the wheel, that temple cracks piece by piece, and you blame me for being silent. When in reality, it is you who are no longer staying inside the house I long to protect. Do you remember the story in 1 Samuel 5, when the Philistines brought the Ark of the Covenant, the symbol of my presence, and set it beside their god Dagon? The next morning, they found Dagon fallen on his face on the ground. They set him up again. But the following day, the statue was shattered, its head and hands broken off and lying apart. Do you know why? Because no darkness can stand firm when I am present. And when my temple in you is cracked, it is because you have allowed little Dagons, anxieties, fears, useless rituals, hatred, and self-destruction to stand beside me in your heart. The temple does not collapse because I am not strong, but because you refuse to cast those idols out of your inner life. You keep thinking you are fighting some person, some curse, or some scheme, but what is truly eating away at your life is rooted inside you. The thoughts that belittle yourself, the habits that weaken your body, the gloomy emotions that cling longer than the night. I never intended my temple in you to become a shelter for fear. I made you to be strong, yet you keep handing over the keys of your life to things that have no right over you at all. I have placed in you a breath more precious than pure gold, but you treat it like some expendable puff of air to be used up at will. Every time you sink into pessimism, drive your body to exhaustion, live off suspicion and doubt, your body, the place I chose to inhabit, is being turned into a decaying temple. You ask yourself why your prayers seem to lose their power, why peace no longer remains. It is because when the temple walls are cracked, the song leaks out. Nothing can be held inside anymore. And yet I have never abandoned you. I am still waiting for the day you are willing to sweep that temple clean, willing to stand up and repair each stone you have allowed to fall. You do not need to be as strong as you imagine. You only need to return. I will restore you, mend the fractures carved out by fear. That temple will shine again, stand firm again, and make the darkness tremble each time it comes near. But before that can happen, you must dare to face what has been quietly destroying you from within. My child, what is cracking my temple in you is not the rituals people perform behind your back. The most troubling thing is when you yourself believe those things are stronger than the one who placed breath in your lungs. The woman who uses witchcraft is nothing more than a dry branch in the hand of darkness, unable to stand on her own unless I permit it. But every time you shape your lips to speak of spells, charms, curses, you are unintentionally lifting them up to the same level as my power. Darkness has no strength of its own. It is only fed by the emotions you nurture in your heart: fear, resentment, despair. The more you tend them, the deeper their roots go. Yet the moment you lift your eyes to me, that darkness becomes nothing more than a distant noise not nearly enough to touch the temple I am guarding. My child, there are moments when I look at you and my heart aches like the wind whistling through a torn roof. You do not see that what makes you tremble is not what people whisper about witchcraft or spells, but the very insecurity you have been raising inside your heart. I see you staring at the darkness as if it could lift your whole life with a single breath, while my power stands right behind you. needing only for you to turn around. What makes the temple in you shake is not out there, but in your own thoughts, which inflate every little thing into a looming storm. I do not blame you, because I know you have been weary for a long time. But my child, if you keep letting your worries take shape as some kind of fake power, they will quietly take the place that belongs to me in your heart without you even noticing. I need you to understand that darkness has no power of its own. It survives on the breath your fear grants it. When you think about charms and spells more than you think about me, you are building a throne for darkness to sit upon in your soul. The woman who uses witchcraft is just a brittle stick trying to spark a bit of dying fire, but when you look at her as someone powerful, it is you who make that flame burn brighter. You do not realize that this fake power only exists when you shrink me down to a distant concept. I do not need you to become instantly strong. I only need you to see this one truth. When you believe I am small, everything else grows large according to your imagination. Do you remember the story in 2 Kings 6? When Elisha's servant was terrified because the Aramean army had surrounded the city, he trembled because he believed the enemy was too many for any human strength to withstand. But Elisha asked me to open his eyes, and when those eyelids lifted, he saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire around them. My forces had never left. Do you see? The enemy did not grow stronger. People only grew weaker when they looked through eyes that magnified fear. You are the same. You trembled before rumors, before shadows someone else projects, before the idea that some dark power is targeting your life, while in truth, my host of angels is standing right beside you and you do not bother to look. What you need is not more protection, but less imagination feeding threats that are not real. My beloved, I did not create you so you would live forever, startled by things people invent to frighten others. You are my temple. But when you shrink me and enlarge the darkness, that temple cracks along the very line of your gaze. I want you to return in sobriety. Let your heart stop telling the story of fear and begin telling the story of me. I do not need you to shout your faith. I only need you to whisper, Lord, please open my eyes as you opened the eyes of Elisha's servant. That one small sentence is enough to make all the darkness tremble. Because it knows you are beginning to see clearly who is standing in the temple of your life. Let me patch the walls that confusion has been chipping away for so long. And you know, when your heart stops inflating the darkness, you will notice something even more subtle, more refined. It is not the enemy's attack that truly makes you stagger, but the flickering of your faith that keeps you from standing firm in the wind. I will speak to you about this not to rebuke you, but to lead you back to the steadfastness you lost amid anxious days. For when your heart ceases to hand authority to the darkness, you will clearly see that your real need is not to find new ways to defend yourself, but to learn how to stand firm in me completely, no longer half believing and half doubting as you did before. You see, there are times when I look into your soul and it is like a little lamp flickering between two opposing gusts of wind. You lean a little toward me, then you lean a little toward your fears, as if both had equal right to lead you. I see your steps halt right on that dividing line, not close enough to me to be strong, yet not far enough from fear to be at peace. It is exactly that posture that exhausts you, because you do not truly belong anywhere. Any small gust that passes by is enough to make you sway, simply because you have not chosen to stand still in my light. My child, spiritual warfare does not knock you down as quickly as you think. It is hesitation that slowly drains your strength. I want you to grasp a truth many overlook. You do not grow weak because the attack is so fierce, but because your heart does not know where to rest. When you stand between two choices, your mind opens countless windows for doubt, worry, and the whispers of darkness to slip through. Half-hearted faith is like a house with a torn roof. Just a light drizzle is enough to leave you soaked and shivering. I am not saying this to condemn you. I am saying it because I know you have grown used to bearing things you were never meant to bear. I do not want you to live every day in a fragile, defensive stance. You were born to stand upright, not to tremble on the boundary line you drew for yourself. Do you remember the story of Peter walking on the water? As long as his eyes were fixed on me, the water was like solid ground beneath his feet. But in just a single moment, when he turned to look at the strong wind, he began to sink immediately. It was not the storm that made him sink, it was his gaze turning away from me. And it is the same with you. You look to me when everything is calm, but as soon as the wind begins to rise, you hesitate and turn to stare at your fears, analyzing every threat, convincing yourself that the waves are bigger than my power. You do not realize that every time you do that, you are taking off the spiritual armor I myself have placed on you with my own hands. Yet I never grow tired of lifting you up. Let me place back on you the armor you have. Unknowingly let slip truth, so you will not be deceived by strange voices. Righteousness, so you will know your worth. Faith, so you will lean on what is unshakable instead of what is unstable. Salvation, so you will remember that you belong to me. And my word, so each of your steps may be guided. You do not need a gigantic faith. You only need a faith that points in the right direction. For faith is not measured by its size, but by the one it is placed in. When you place it in me, it will always be big enough to drive back everything that is threatening you. I know you are afraid that you are not strong enough, but I have never asked you to be great. I have only asked you to be sincere. The more you try to cling to both me and your fears at the same time, the more you exhaust yourself. I want to draw you close, lay my hand on those trembling shoulders and tell you, you do not have to stand between two shores anymore. If you step fully toward me, you will be surprised to see how small the things that once terrified you begin to look. For darkness always swells in front of those who stand in the middle, but it shrinks when it stands before someone who knows in whom they believe. And when your heart grows quiet again, you will see another truth that you did not clearly perceive before. It is resentment, not the enemy, that binds the hands of those who are under my covering. A heart heavy with anger cannot hold the light, no matter how many layers of armor it wears. I will tell you these things, not to wound you, but so you can learn to walk in the freedom that should have been yours long ago. My child, I see the hidden corners in your heart that you still conceal from me, behind your smile and your familiar words. I'm fine, yet it is precisely in that deepest place where you store all the hurts you have never put into words that darkness finds it easiest to enter. Not because you are weak, but because you have let painful memories stand still for too long without handing them over to me. Hatred, silently, is like a cord tied around your wrist. At first it seems insignificant, but it tightens more and more over time. You do not realize that what weighs you down is not the person who hurt you, but the desire for revenge that has seeped into you little by little. I do not come to accuse you. I come to loosen, one by one, the knots you have unconsciously tied around your own soul. Think about this. Every time you feel your heart burn with resentment, how much energy have you spent feeding that emotion? When you focus on what someone has done to you, you unknowingly let them live in your mind far longer than they deserve. Resentment does not make them weaker. It only slows your own steps on the journey I long to lead you on. I see you trying to be strong, trying to prove that you are unaffected, yet inside, unhealed wounds keep you constantly wary, constantly suspicious, constantly avoiding others. That is not protection, it is a wall you have built so that no one can hurt you again. But that very wall also keeps me at a distance. My beloved, hatred is a trap in which the wounded keep imagining that they are winning. Remember the story of Jonah. When the people of Nineveh repented, I forgave them, but Jonah grew angry because he wanted me to punish those he saw as evil. He sat under the shade of a vine, hoping in his heart that they would still be destroyed, and when the plant withered, he became so furious that he wished to die. Do you recognize yourself in that picture? You hold on to your anger the way Jonah clung to that plant, hoping it will give you shade, hoping it will keep you strong, but in truth it only causes you deeper pain when it is taken away. Hatred makes you confuse justice with revenge, self-protection with imprisoning yourself in invisible chains. I tell you this not to condemn Jonah, but so that you might see yourself in his story and understand that I do not want your heart to wither, like the last leaf on that dying vine. But listen to me. Forgiveness does not mean denying the pain that happened. Forgiveness does not turn wrong into right, does not erase memory, does not require you to be close to those who have hurt you. Forgiveness is simply your declaration: I will not let darkness use this pain to bind me any longer. When you choose to forgive, you hand back the right to judge into my hands, into the hands of the one who sees more clearly than you, understands more deeply than you, and is more just than anything you could imagine. I want you to be free, truly free, a freedom that does not come from striking back, but from throwing off the chains that hatred has fastened around your soul. Let me enter that inner sanctuary and wipe clean the dark corners where you still sigh in secret and no one hears. And then, when your heart grows lighter, you will recognize yet another truth. The fears you are trying so hard to drive away do not come from the outside, but from your search for safety in people and rituals, instead of in me. When hatred loosens its grip from your wrists, you will realize you need a true refuge, not the fragile shields the world hands you. I will show you a fortress that darkness cannot cross, but first your heart must be spacious enough to receive this protection. My child, I see your hurried steps, running from place to place, hoping that someone will give you a sense of safety that you think I have never given. I see the charms people have pressed into your hands, the hollow advice, the rituals that calm you for a few minutes, only to leave you twice as anxious. You cling to them as if they were a lifeline, but they are only thin threads that cannot hold a soul that is losing its balance. I see you trusting these tiny objects more than you trust me, the one who has kept you through all the years no one knows about. The more you hold on to such things, the more you lose what matters most, the peace that comes from knowing you are standing in the shadow of my wings. My beloved, the world is full of things that promise to protect you, but they cannot even stand firm against a real wind. Think about it. If true protection lay in things you can drop, burn, or have taken away, how would you live? Would you not spend your days guarding them, leaving your soul constantly tense, terrified that one moment of carelessness could cost you your peace? I see you like someone standing on cracked ground, struggling to keep your balance, when a single step toward me would set your feet on solid rock. I send my angels to encamp around you, but when your mind is fixed only on human ways of protection, you fail to see the invisible arms that have always surrounded you. You search in material things for what only my spirit can give, and when your expectation is aimed in the wrong direction, peace will always stay just a little out of reach, no matter how hard you run after it. Do you remember how David fled from Saul? At one point he ran into the holy place and asked for the sword of Goliath to defend himself. The sword of Goliath, the very weapon that had once astonished all Israel, still could not give him true safety, because the one pursuing him was not afraid of the sword, but of the one standing behind David. The weapon in his hand did not save David. It was I who protected him, even in the darkest caves. I tell you this story again so you will understand. No matter how powerful the thing you hold in your hand seems to be, it will never be enough to quiet your soul if I am not standing with you. In the same way, the shields people hand you are not what makes darkness retreat. Only my presence can do that. My beloved, I do not rebuke you for having sought refuge in the wrong places. I know you have only been afraid and in need of reassurance. But now I want you to gently release what you are holding so tightly, so that your hands may be empty enough to receive true protection. Real peace does not come from your ability to control every risk. It comes from knowing you are being kept by one who never falls asleep. When you stop searching for the fences built by human hands, you will see the invisible fortress I have already raised around you long ago, a place where darkness cannot enter, no matter how often it knocks. Let me draw you back into that safe land, where your soul can finally rest instead of living in constant alarm. And then, when you stand firm within true protection, you will realize that your true nature is not that of a victim running away from the darkness, but of a bearer of light before whom darkness withdraws. When you know that you are held by me, your steps will be different, your gaze will be different, and the way you exist in the midst of this world will be different. You will no longer be someone merely trying to survive. You will become one who brings life. My child, this is the journey I want you to continue, because the way you stand firm will be the loudest answer you can give to the darkness. My child, now that you know where the true stronghold is, I want you to look at yourself again with new eyes. The darkness once made you believe that you were small, fragile, easily wounded, and easily shaken by a single gust of wind. But if you could see yourself from my perspective, you would see that you are like a burning torch that I am shielding with my own hand. No wind has the power to extinguish a flame that I myself have lit. You have lived many days feeling like a fugitive, but that has only ever been a feeling, not your identity. Whatever I have placed within you, the darkness cannot take away, no matter how hard it tries. I want you to understand this deeply. You do not exist to monitor what the darkness is doing. You exist to walk forward so that the darkness dares not come near. Light does not sit and discuss how strong the darkness is. Light only needs to appear, and the darkness retreats on its own. You do not need to win by making noise. You need only to keep a peaceful spirit, a soft heart, and eyes that stay turned toward me, and that is already a resounding victory in the unseen realm. Every breath you live in alignment with my will, every kind word, every honest action, is a blow that terrifies the darkness. It is not afraid of your shouting. It is afraid of your quiet steadfastness, because that kind of peace cannot be faked. You are the living evidence that the light I have placed within you cannot be put out. Do you remember how those whom I chose in Scripture always carried a distinctiveness about them? Joseph did not need anyone to protect him. It was my favor upon his life that kept the darkness from touching him, no matter how people tried to harm him. Daniel did not escape the lions' mouths by human strength, but because he carried my presence with him. Each of them was once regarded as a victim, pressed down, misunderstood, yet, in the end, each stepped forth as light in the darkest places. I tell you this so that you will know your journey is no exception. You were not born to live curled up in fear of being attacked. You were created to become living proof that my light is stronger than anything that rises against you. My beloved, I know you have often felt weak, but it is precisely in that weakness that my light shines the clearest. You do not need to pretend to be strong to make the darkness afraid. You only need to be truthful with me and honest with your own heart. Humility opens up a space, and I will pour into that space a strength you did not produce. When you rise again from days when you felt utterly drained, that is when the light within you burns the brightest. People may look at you and not understand why you are still at peace, why you have not collapsed, and that very mystery confuses the darkness. For in order to defeat you, it would first have to defeat me, and that will never happen. And then, as you walk as light, your journey will no longer be merely about being protected. You will become a place where others find hope. Some will look at you and realize that they, too, can stand up again. Some will look at you and remember that they have not been abandoned. You will become a living witness that I still move, still save, still protect, still restore. And from now on, instead of asking, "What is the darkness doing to me?" you will begin to ask a different question, the one I have longed for you to ask. Lord, where can I carry your light today? My beloved child, I want you to listen even more closely now, because what I am about to say is not only to comfort you, but to awaken the strongest part within you, the part you once forgot in the days of fear and weariness. You are not only saved by me, you are chosen, placed on a journey that no darkness can ruin, even when it deliberately searches for every path to slip in. Your life is not a random drifting, not a string of days where you struggle to manage on your own in confusion, but a carefully crafted design that I have woven with wisdom far beyond your understanding. Every breath you take, every step you walk, every time you rise again from ruins that seemed final, all of these are marks showing that you have never been an orphaned soul in this world. You think you are small, frail, fumbling through challenges too great for you, but I see within you a flame that I, myself, have kindled, a flame no wind can extinguish. You have passed through shadows in which others might have easily fallen, and yet you still stand, not because you are stronger than everyone else, but because the light from me within you has never gone out. My child, do not let fear borrow your voice to persuade you that you will fail, that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not blessed enough. Do not let the darkness paint gray and black scenarios before your eyes just to deceive your heart into believing your future is bleak. I have placed seeds within you that, if you faithfully water them with faith, will blossom into things far greater than anything you have ever prayed for. You were not born to live from a defeated posture, nor to spend your life walking on eggshells as though any small mistake could shatter you. I have formed you with my powerful hands, and no scheme of darkness can touch your life at will when I have not permitted it. You need only to walk in that truth, because when your heart stands firm on what I have spoken, you will find that you are no longer easily swept away by the pointless winds of doubt. Do not be afraid to face battles, for there is no battle in which I leave you alone. I do not need you to be strong by your own strength. I need you to lean on me the way a child trusts its father's arms. When your heart is weak, I am not disappointed. When you are weary, I am not distant. When you collapse, I do not turn my face away. I draw nearer, I lay my hand upon your soul, and I whisper that you have never fallen out of my grasp. You cannot see what is happening in the unseen realm, but I can. I see the enemy trying to sow into your heart those tiny doubts that seem harmless, yet become the very seeds that steal your focus. I see it placing before you situations that make you question your worth, that make you think I am silent, that make you feel as though you are fighting alone. And I want you to know that every time the darkness tries to make you forget me, that is precisely when I am standing closest to you. Take careful note of this. The darkness does not attack you with things that are easy to recognize. It moves gently, subtly, slowly, little by little, like water seeping into the ground until the foundation weakens without your awareness. It does not make you fall all at once. It makes you doubt, lose heart, and give up bit by bit until you suddenly wonder why your peace has vanished so quickly. That is why I want you to put on the armor I have prepared for you. Not armor made of iron, but armor of truth, the kind that leaves no place for lies to cling. Armor of the righteousness I have placed on you, not because you are perfect, but because I have chosen you as my child. The shield of faith not great because of your strength, but mighty because of the one in whom you trust. The helmet that guards your thoughts, reminding you that you are saved, redeemed, and kept. And my word, the invisible sword, sharper than anything, cutting through every accusation, every mental stronghold, every deception that the darkness builds in your mind. And then, when you stand firm within true protection, you will realize that your true nature is not that of a victim running away from the darkness, but of a bearer of light before whom darkness withdraws. When you know that you are held by me, your steps will be different, your gaze will be different, and the way you exist in the midst of this world will be different. You will no longer be someone merely trying to survive. You will become one who brings life. My child, this is the journey I want you to continue, because the way you stand firm will be the loudest answer you can give to the darkness. My child, now that you know where the true stronghold is, I want you to look at yourself again with new eyes. The darkness once made you believe that you were small, fragile, easily wounded, and easily shaken by a single gust of wind. But if you could see yourself from my perspective, you would see that you are like a burning torch that I am shielding with my own hand. No wind has the power to extinguish a flame that I, myself, have lit. You have lived many days feeling like a fugitive, but that has only ever been a feeling, not your identity. Whatever I have placed within you, the darkness cannot take away, no matter how hard it tries. I want you to understand this deeply. You do not exist to monitor what the darkness is doing. You exist to walk forward so that the darkness dares not come near. Light does not sit and discuss how strong the darkness is. Light only needs to appear, and the darkness retreats on its own. You do not need to win by making noise. You need only to keep a peaceful spirit, a soft heart, and eyes that stay turned toward me, and that is already a resounding victory in the unseen realm. Every breath you live in alignment with my will, every kind word, every honest action, is a blow that terrifies the darkness. It is not afraid of your shouting. It is afraid of your quiet steadfastness, because that kind of peace cannot be faked. You are the living evidence that the light I have placed within you cannot be put out. Do you remember how those whom I chose in Scripture always carried a distinctiveness about them? Joseph did not need anyone to protect him. It was my favor upon his life that kept the darkness from touching him, no matter how people tried to harm him. Daniel did not escape the lions' mouths by human strength, but because he carried my presence with him. Each of them was once regarded as a victim, pressed down, misunderstood, yet in the end, each stepped forth as light in the darkest places. I tell you this so that you will know your journey is no exception. You were not born to live curled up in fear of being attacked. You were created to become living proof that my light is stronger than anything that rises against you. My beloved, I know you have often felt weak, but it is precisely in that weakness that my light shines the clearest. You do not need to pretend to be strong to make the darkness afraid. You only need to be truthful with me and honest with your own heart. Humility opens up a space, and I will pour into that space a strength you did not produce. When you rise again from days when you felt utterly drained, that is when the light within you burns the brightest. People may look at you and not understand why you are still at peace, why you have not collapsed, and that very mystery confuses the darkness. For in order to defeat you, it would first have to defeat me, and that will never happen. And then, as you walk as light, your journey will no longer be merely about being protected. You will become a place where others find hope. Some will look at you and realize that they, too, can stand up again. Some will look at you and remember that they have not been abandoned. You will become a living witness that I still move, still save, still protect, still restore, and from now on, instead of asking, "What is the darkness doing to me?" you will begin to ask a different question, the one I have longed for you to ask. Lord, where can I carry your light today? My beloved child, I want you to listen even more closely now, because what I am about to say is not only to comfort you, but to awaken the strongest part within you, the part you once forgot in the days of fear and weariness. You are not only saved by me, you are chosen, placed on a journey that no darkness can ruin, even when it deliberately searches for every path to slip in. Your life is not a random drifting, not a string of days where you struggle to manage on your own in confusion, but a carefully crafted design that I have woven with wisdom far beyond your understanding. Every breath you take, every step you walk, every time you rise again from ruins that seemed final, all of these are marks showing that you have never been an orphaned soul in this world. You think you are small, frail, fumbling through challenges too great for you, but I see within you a flame that I, myself, have kindled, a flame no wind can extinguish. You have passed through shadows in which others might have easily fallen, and yet you still stand, not because you are stronger than everyone else, but because the light from me within you has never gone out. My child, do not let fear borrow your voice to persuade you that you will fail, that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not blessed enough. Do not let the darkness paint gray and black scenarios before your eyes just to deceive your heart into believing your future is bleak. I have placed seeds within you that, if you faithfully water them with faith, will blossom into things far greater than anything you have ever prayed for. You were not born to live from a defeated posture, nor to spend your life walking on eggshells as though any small mistake could shatter you. I have formed you with my powerful hands, and no scheme of darkness can touch your life at will when I have not permitted it. You need only to walk in that truth, because when your heart stands firm on what I have spoken, you will find that you are no longer easily swept away by the pointless winds of doubt. Do not be afraid to face battles, for there is no battle in which I leave you alone. I do not need you to be strong by your own strength. I need you to lean on me the way a child trusts its father's arms. When your heart is weak, I am not disappointed. When you are weary, I am not distant. When you collapse, I do not turn my face away. I draw nearer, I lay my hand upon your soul, and I whisper that you have never fallen out of my grasp. You cannot see what is happening in the unseen realm, but I can. I see the enemy trying to sow into your heart those tiny doubts that seem harmless, yet become the very seeds that steal your focus. I see it placing before you situations that make you question your worth, that make you think I am silent, that make you feel as though you are fighting alone. And I want you to know that every time the darkness tries to make you forget me, that is precisely when I am standing closest to you. Take careful note of this. The darkness does not attack you with things that are easy to recognize. It moves gently, subtly, slowly, little by little, like water seeping into the ground until the foundation weakens without your awareness. It does not make you fall all at once. It makes you doubt, lose heart, and give up bit by bit until you suddenly wonder why your peace has vanished so quickly. That is why I want you to put on the armor I have prepared for you. Not armor made of iron, but armor of truth, the kind that leaves no place for lies to cling. Armor of the righteousness I have placed on you, not because you are perfect, but because I have chosen you as my child. The shield of faith, not great because of your strength, but mighty because of the one in whom you trust. The helmet that guards your thoughts, reminding you that you are saved, redeemed, and kept. And my word, the invisible sword sharper than anything, cutting through every accusation, every mental stronghold, every deception that the darkness builds in your mind. My child, when you fight with my word, you are no longer fighting with your shifting emotions. You are fighting with what I have spoken, with what I will not change my mind about, with what I have sealed with my very name. What weapon formed against you can remain effective when I stand on your side? What tongue can accuse you and still stand when you are hidden in the one who holds authority over every verdict? All you need to do is hold fast to my word and let it become your very breath, for my word is not only meant to be read, my word is meant to be lived, to be wielded, to be victorious. And every time you choose to speak my word instead of words of fear, every time you choose to stand in peace instead of panic, you are extinguishing each flaming arrow the enemy shoots into your life. When you feel darkness suddenly closing in like a heavy cloud descending, remember that the light within you does not come from your moods, but from me, the one who has never gone out. You may tremble, but the light in you does not tremble. You may grow weary, but the light in you does not weaken. You may weep, but the light in you does not shatter. My child, darkness may threaten, but it has no right to determine your fate. You do not fight alone, for I have sent my angels to guard what you cannot see, to shield you from attacks you do not even know about. And every time you whisper, "Lord, please help me," all of heaven moves toward you, swifter than the beating of your own heart. Let your mind be filled with life from my spirit, for where my spirit dwells, fear has no room. When you place my word in your heart day after day, you are building an invisible wall that the enemy cannot cross. The more you nourish your faith, the more clearly you will see this. It is not that the darkness is stronger than you. It is that it only seems strong when you let your eyes drift away from me. But when you keep your gaze fixed on me, you become like one standing on the mountaintop, no longer overshadowed by the small things happening below your feet. You no longer look at your life from ground level. You see it from my perspective, the perspective of the one who has already overcome. I want you to live with the confidence that you are not a child tossed into battle without armor. You are one who has been equipped, refined, guarded, and sent. The light you carry is not something you strive to produce so others will notice. It is the light I, myself, have placed in your soul, a light with a voice, a weight, a mark, a light with the authority to make darkness retreat simply by your presence. You are not a victim, you are a warrior of light. You are not one who runs away, you are one who walks in my authority. You are not abandoned, you are covered by the one no power can ever break through. So do not bow your head anymore. Lift up your face as one who knows where you belong. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are deeply loved and perfectly protected. Speak my word as one who knows their words carry the power to shift the very atmosphere. Live as one who knows the light within has been given to shine, not to be hidden in a corner. And as you do this, you will not only stand firm for yourself, you will become a living sign for souls who are trying to find their way home, a witness that my light has never gone out, never grown dim, never been absent. It has only been waiting for a heart that dares to believe, to open, and to step forward. My beloved child, as you move along the path I am leading you on, not a single one of your steps disappears into some empty void, because I, myself, am the one who goes before you to open the way, the one who walks beside you to keep you from falling, and the one who comes behind you to block every scheme lying in wait. You walk not only in peace but in a spiritual reality your eyes cannot yet fully see. You are being held by the hands that formed the heavens and the earth, by a heart that never grows tired of caring for you. Even when the darkness believes it can slip through some tiny gap in your life, even when it thinks it can use doubt or fear to find a passage into your soul, the very first thing it meets is still the invisible wall I have built around you, a wall no power under heaven has the right to pierce. And when it realizes the place it wants to enter is already sealed by my authority, it will tremble and retreat, because it knows it has just confronted a presence far greater than any threat it has ever spoken over mankind. My child, in the days when your heart feels so heavy that you think you are alone in the storm, I am still standing beside you, watching over every breath, listening to every sigh you do not dare to put into words. There are moments when you sit alone in the night, feeling as though the whole world has turned its back, as though the weight on your shoulders is beyond anyone's understanding, as though the strength you show is only a thin garment covering wounds that have not yet healed. But even when you think no one sees your tears, I have been there since before the first drop fell. I never leave you abandoned in the dryness of your soul. I breathe my life into your inner being, restoring the endurance you thought was gone, giving you warmth in the cold days of your spirit. Not for a single moment are you forsaken, even when people do not understand you, when the world is indifferent, when your heart feels hollow because of promises others have broken. You must remember that I do not move as they do. I do not promise just to soothe you. I promise in order to fulfill by my own power. Do not foolishly entrust the safety of your soul into human hands, for people can only shelter you with what they have, but I protect you with my very being. When you let your heart cling to human promises, you will be disappointed. When you lean on human strength to find security, you will tremble when that strength is gone. You run after things that make you feel safe for a moment, yet slowly weaken your heart over time. Look back and see, how many times have you clung to material things, hoping they would preserve your peace? How many times have you placed your hopes in a piece of advice, in a person, in some action you thought would finally calm you? And yet, in the end, you found yourself returning to the same emptiness, because what you held onto was never strong enough to lift you up. My child, the only thing strong enough to raise your heart every time you are exhausted is my embrace, not the arms of man. When you choose to trust me, nothing can truly harm you. When you walk close to me, you are walking within a realm of protection no darkness can enter. I know there are days when temptations surround you like waves crashing upon the shore, nights when you feel attacked from every side. You think you are weak, you think you are fragile, you think you are merely someone besieged by things you cannot control. But temptation is not your fate, it is the journey that trains your heart. Spiritual attacks are not meant to destroy you, but to show you more clearly where I stand in your life. When you face them in faith, every blow that seems as if it will knock you down becomes a hammer strike, breaking the rust off your soul, causing you to shine like gold refined in the fire. What truly hurts you is not the trial itself, but that you forget I am right there, walking with you through it. Do not fear the fire of testing, for even though it burns, it cannot consume you when I am in the fire with you. My dear one, I want you to know that every breath you take in trust is proof that your heart is growing, stronger and deeper than before. You are not someone being pushed backward, you are someone moving forward in step with my leading. Your life is not defined by the attacks you face, but by the way you rise after each testing. I see you not running away, even when you are tired. I see you still taking another step when your feet feel heavy. I see you still opening your heart, even though old wounds have not fully healed. You do not realize how strong you have already become, because within you is my life, a life that does not know how to retreat. And then, when you look back on the days that have passed, you will see how small the things that once frightened you have become. You will recognize that what held you back was not the threats around you, but the inner unrest you had not yet surrendered to me. You will realize that the enemy did not overcome you by force, but by the doubts you carried about yourself. But when you know that you are held firmly in my hand, you will no longer tremble before the darkness, because you know who is walking with you. The light I have placed within you is not a light that easily goes out. It is kindled by an unfailing love, sustained by unchanging power, and carried by a presence that is never limited by time or circumstances. My child, from this moment on, what I want you to ask is no longer, why is the darkness attacking me? But, where does your light desire me to shine today? When you ask that question, you have already moved from a posture of defense to the posture of one who is sent, one who carries what the world is lacking, unconditional love, unshakable peace, and a light that does not go out no matter how deep the night becomes. You are not only being protected, you are being entrusted with a mission, and I, the one who created you, will walk with you until the very end. My beloved child, there is something I have long been whispering into your soul. Only in the noise of life you have often not managed to hear it. Discernment is not a luxury reserved for those who are more spiritual than you, but a treasure I placed into your life from the very first days you stepped into my light. It is not something to be displayed or noted for form's sake. It is a real compass, a candle still burning in rooms where the darkness believes it has taken over completely. I have given you the ability to recognize what is my voice and what is the counterfeit whisper of things that want to drag your soul into confusion. But for this gift to work, you must truly use it. You must dare to pause in the midst of the clamor of voices. Incline your ear to listen for my breath. Allow your heart to grow quiet enough for me to plant each reminder deep within you. I see how often you know what is right, and yet you doubt that gentle voice precisely because it is not loud. You think truth must roar, must shake you, must be as forceful as thunder. But, my child, sometimes I choose to speak in a gentle breeze because I want you to draw closer, to learn peace in every step you take, to trust me more than any external sign. I want you to know that not everyone who comes near desires what is good for your soul. There are those who arrive with a courteous appearance, yet sow in you seeds that make you increasingly uneasy. There are sugar-coated words that, once they enter your heart, act like poison and pull you away from the light. I know you have believed words that sounded sincere, have poured out your heart to people who did not truly understand what was happening inside you, have opened the door of your heart to influences that slowly weakened you. But now I want you to grow in discernment, so that no form of deceit will have any place in your mind anymore. When you stand firm in me, you will no longer be shaken every time you hear a threat, every time someone speaks of dark forces, every time someone tries to magnify a darkness that has no real advantage before me. It is your deep attachment to me that will make you like a tree whose roots sink down into living water. The strong winds may sway you, but they cannot uproot you. You are not one who trembles at people's words. You are one who belongs to me, and anything that does not bear my imprint you will know is unworthy to step into your life. And child, on that journey, forgiveness is the key that few are willing to use, yet it is the only key that can open the door leading you out of the invisible prison of your own making. I know you have thought, forgiveness means overlooking everything, giving those who hurt you another chance to do it again, but forgiveness is not the softness you have feared. Forgiveness is the most powerful act a soul can make, because it asks you to lay down a battle you have carried on your shoulders for far too long, a battle that was never yours to fight. When you forgive, you are telling me that you no longer want to protect yourself in your own way, that you no longer want to force yourself to live in constant defense, no longer allow old wounds to dictate how you see the present. Forgiveness is not an admission that the other person was right. It is the release that allows you to go on living. When you hold on to resentment, the enemy needs to do nothing more. Your anger itself will bind your hands, steal the lightness from your mind, slow your steps, and cause you to miss the good things I am preparing for you. You do not realize that every time you nurture anger, you are giving the enemy a foothold it does not deserve. Forgiveness is how you close and lock that door, handing back to me the rightful authority over your heart. My dear one, I see every tear that falls when others wound you. I hear the stifled sighs, the nights you lie still because you don't want anyone to know how exhausted you are. I know it is not easy for you to let go of your anger, because it makes you feel as if you are holding on to a little power, a little justice, a small victory. But the truth is entirely the opposite. Every time you cling to resentment, you place yourself in a position of weakness. You hand that bit of power to the very thing that hurt you. And that is what I do not want to see. I want you lighter, freer, walking more at peace. Forgiveness is the way you lift your eyes from the pain and fix them on me, the only one, just enough to decide what is right and what is wrong, the only one great enough to heal the wounds you cannot even bear to touch yourself. When you forgive, you Place your heart in the only place it truly belongs, in my hands. When you let go of anger, something wondrous will happen. You will begin to see again the beauty of a world you once thought was only darkness. You will notice the small things you used to overlook, the birds at dawn, the warmth of sunlight, a sincere embrace, a kind word, a moment of stillness that fills you with inexplicable peace. These things never disappeared. It was only that your mind was too burdened to notice them. I will fill your heart with joy, not loud, noisy joy, but a deep peace that nothing can disturb. I will restore within you the freshness you thought you had lost forever. The peace I give does not depend on circumstances. It is like an underground stream, quietly yet powerfully flowing into the driest places of your soul. You will look back on the days you lived in fear and recognize that I was there all along, patiently waiting for you to open your heart so that I could do my work. But child, I do not only desire to heal you, I desire to lead you into the things I prepared long before you knew me. I have plans for your life, plans that are never destroyed by a few storms. They are not fragile designs, they are good things I have engraved into the course of your journey, paths that will bring you to where you truly belong. I want you to walk with confidence, knowing your future is built on an unchanging foundation. I want you to believe that even if today is hard, even if the darkness screams, I am still holding your hand and leading you step by step. You do not have to manage your future on your own. I am writing it with my own hand, and everything I do leads to the flourishing of your soul, the strengthening of your mind, and the steadfastness of your faith. So do not let your eyes fix only on the chaos before you. The more you stare at your difficulties, the more you forget that I am greater than all of them. The world may turn and twist, people may be fickle, circumstances may change, but I never do. When you keep your gaze lifted toward me, you will realize that all the dangers around you are only shadows that cannot touch you. You will no longer be driven by fear, by unstable emotions, by toxic words. You will learn to walk as one who has seen true light, as one who knows they are never abandoned for even a single moment, as one who understands that there is one going ahead to make a way and one behind to protect. And you will live as one who is chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are mine, my beloved. I do not ask you to become invincible. I ask only that you learn to trust that I am with you in every moment, even in the ones where you think I am silent. When you make room for me in your heart, when you dare to forgive, when you dare to let go of unstable supports, when you dare to believe that I have good plans for you, you will see the whole sky open wide before you, and you will know that no darkness can ever eclipse what I have placed within you. My child, I want you to sit for a moment. Let your breathing calm. Let your soul grow quiet enough to hear me say something I inscribed into your spirit from the day you were born. You belong to the Creator of all things, the one who governs every movement of the wind, every hidden shifting in the universe, the one who speaks a word, and all of nature bows in obedience. You have never drifted through some empty, undefined space as you imagine. You are being held by the very hand that directs the orbits and cycles no human mind can fully grasp. Every star hanging in the sky is not suspended there by chance, but because I told it to stand there, and that same power is surrounding you in every step you take. When the sun rises, the light has no right to choose. It shines because I want it to shine. When the wind falls still, it does not decide on its own. It rests because I have told it to be still. See all of life as one vast symphony, and I am the only conductor of that symphony, every event moving at the nod or the silence of my will. And, child, if I can hold back the oceans from spilling over their shores, if I can keep the heavens in their appointed rhythm, do you really think I am unable to hold and keep your small yet priceless heart? My child, from this moment on, what I want you to ask is no longer, why is the darkness attacking me? But, Where does your light desire me to shine today? When you ask that question, you have already moved from a posture of defense to the posture of one who is sent, one who carries what the world is lacking: unconditional love, unshakable peace, and a light that does not go out no matter how deep the night becomes. You are not only being protected, you are being entrusted with a mission. And I, the one who created you, will walk with you until the very end. My beloved child, there is something I have long been whispering into your soul, only in the noise of life you have often not managed to hear. Discernment is not a luxury reserved for those who are more spiritual than you, but a treasure I placed into your life from the very first days you stepped into my light. It is not something to be displayed or noted for form's sake. It is a real compass, a candle still burning in rooms where the darkness believes it has taken over completely. I have given you the ability to recognize what is my voice and what is the counterfeit whisper of things that want to drag your soul into confusion. But for this gift to work, you must truly use it. You must dare to pause in the midst of the clamor of voices, incline your ear to listen for my breath. Allow your heart to grow quiet enough for me to plant each reminder deep within you. I see how often you know what is right, and yet you doubt that gentle voice precisely because it is not loud. You think truth must roar, must shake you, must be as forceful as thunder, but my child, sometimes I choose to speak in a gentle breeze because I want you to draw closer, to learn peace in every step you take, to trust me more than any external sign. I want you to know that not everyone who comes near desires what is good for your soul. There are those who arrive with a courteous appearance, yet sow in you seeds that make you increasingly uneasy. There are sugar-coated words that, once they enter your heart, act like poison and pull you away from the light. I know you have believed words that sounded sincere, have poured out your heart to people who did not truly understand what was happening inside you, have opened the door of your heart to influences that slowly weakened you. But now I want you to grow in discernment, so that no form of deceit will have any place in your mind anymore. When you stand firm in me, you will no longer be shaken every time you hear a threat, every time someone speaks of dark forces, every time someone tries to magnify a darkness that has no real advantage before me. It is your deep attachment to me that will make you like a tree whose roots sink down into living water. The strong winds may sway you, but they cannot uproot you. You are not one who trembles at people's words. You are one who belongs to me. And anything that does not bear my imprint you will know is unworthy to step into your life. And child, on that journey, forgiveness is the key that few are willing to use, yet it is the only key that can open the door, leading you out of the invisible prison of your own making. I know you have thought forgiveness means overlooking everything, giving those who hurt you another chance to do it again. But forgiveness is not the softness you have feared. Forgiveness is the most powerful act a soul can make, because it asks you to lay down a battle you have carried on your shoulders for far too long, a battle that was never yours to fight. When you forgive, you are telling me that you no longer want to protect yourself in your own way, that you no longer want to force yourself to live in constant defense, no longer allow old wounds to dictate how you see the present. Forgiveness is not an admission that the other person was right. It is the release that allows you to go on living. When you hold on to resentment, the enemy needs to do nothing more. Your anger itself will bind your hands, steal the lightness from your mind, slow your steps, and cause you to miss the good things I am preparing for you. You do not realize that every time you nurture anger, you are giving the enemy a foothold it does not deserve. Forgiveness is how you close and lock that door, handing back to me the rightful authority over your heart. My dear one, I see every tear that falls when others wound you. I hear the stifled sighs, the nights you lie still because you don't want anyone to know how exhausted you are. I know it is not easy for you to let go of your anger, because it makes you feel as if you are holding on to a little power, a little justice, a small victory. But the truth is entirely the opposite. Every time you cling to resentment, you place yourself in a position of weakness. You hand that bit of power to the very thing that hurt you, and that is what I do not want to see. I want you lighter, freer, walking more at peace. Forgiveness is the way you lift your eyes from the pain and fix them on me, the only one, just enough to decide what is right and what is wrong, the only one great enough to heal the wounds you cannot even bear to touch yourself. When you forgive, you place your heart in the only place it truly belongs, in my hands. When you let go of anger, something wondrous will happen. You will begin to see again the beauty of a world you once thought was only darkness. You will notice the small things you used to overlook, the birds at dawn, the warmth of sunlight, a sincere embrace, a kind word, a moment of stillness that fills you with inexplicable peace. These things never disappeared. It was only that your mind was too burdened to notice them. I will fill your heart with joy, not loud, noisy joy, but a deep peace that nothing can disturb. I will restore within you the freshness you thought you had lost forever. The peace I give does not depend on circumstances. It is like an underground stream, quietly yet powerfully flowing into the driest places of your soul. You will look back on the days you lived in fear and recognize that I was there all along, patiently waiting for you to open your heart so that I could do my work. But child, I do not only desire to heal you, I desire to lead you into the things I prepared long before you knew me. I have plans for your life, plans that are never destroyed by a few storms. They are not fragile designs. They are good things I have engraved into the course of your journey, paths that will bring you to where you truly belong. I want you to walk with confidence, knowing your future is built on an unchanging foundation. I want you to believe that even if today is hard, even if the darkness screams, I am still holding your hand and leading you step by step. You do not have to manage your future on your own. I am writing it with my own hand. And everything I do leads to the flourishing of your soul, the strengthening of your mind, and the steadfastness of your faith. So do not let your eyes fix only on the chaos before you. The more you stare at your difficulties, the more you forget that I am greater than all of them. The world may turn and twist, people may be fickle, circumstances may change, but I never do. When you keep your gaze lifted toward me, you will realize that all the dangers around you are only shadows that cannot touch you. You will no longer be driven by fear, by unstable emotions, by toxic words. You will learn to walk as one who has seen true light, as one who knows they are never abandoned for even a single moment, as one who understands that there is one going ahead to make a way and one behind to protect. And you will live as one who is chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are mine, my beloved. I do not ask you to become invincible. I ask only that you learn to trust that I am with you in every moment, even in the ones where you think I am silent. When you make room for me in your heart, when you dare to forgive, when you dare to let go of unstable supports, when you dare to believe that I have good plans for you, you will see the whole sky open wide before you, and you will know that no darkness can ever eclipse what I have placed within you. My child, I want you to sit for a moment. Let your breathing calm. Let your soul grow quiet enough to hear me say something I inscribed into your spirit from the day you were born. You belong to the Creator of all things, the one who governs every movement of the wind, every hidden shifting in the universe, the one who speaks a word and all of nature bows in obedience. You have never drifted through some empty, undefined space as you imagine. You are being held by the very hand that directs the orbits and cycles no human mind can fully grasp. Every star hanging in the sky is not suspended there by chance, but because I told it to stand there, and that same power is surrounding you in every step you take. When the sun rises, the light has no right to choose. It shines because I want it to shine. When the wind falls still, it does not decide on its own. It rests because I have told it to be still. See all of life as one vast symphony, and I am the only conductor of that symphony, every event moving at the nod or the silence of my will. And, child, if I can hold back the oceans from spilling over their shores, if I can keep the heavens in their appointed rhythm, do you really think I am unable to hold and keep your small, yet priceless heart? Do not let your mind become a stage where the enemy's whispers put on a show. Learn instead to fill your heart with the truth about me, about the kindness I always extend to you, about the protection that never takes a break, and about the love I bear for you that nothing can compare with. When you truly know who you are in me, you will no longer live like someone who is afraid of the dark. You will live like one who carries in your hand a lamp that never goes out, a lamp that can light the way for you and for those wandering in confusion around you. You are not a victim. You are light. You are not passive. You are a bearer of the power of the one who made the heavens. And every step you take, no matter how small it seems to you, sets off a tremor that the realm of darkness cannot endure. As long as you walk by faith, as long as you walk believing that I go before you, even the ground beneath your feet knows and trembles to make a way. When you whisper a prayer, even in the moments when you feel your weakest, those words still pierce through every layer of space and reach my throne. I hear every breath, every silent thought, every tear that never fully falls. Not a single one of your prayers is lost. When you call on my name with trust, the angels move at once. They do not hesitate, they do not delay, they do not ask again, because they know that a trusting child is a child opening the door for heaven to intervene. There is no storm stronger than the peace that rises from a heart that knows how to surrender. The enemy may pour into your ears lies as soft as silk yet sharp as a blade, but as long as you stand in my truth, they become nothing more than stray noise lost in the air. Lies cannot survive in a heart that knows how to listen for my voice, because my word resounds longer, deeper, and more accurately than anything else. There will be times when you grow tired. There will be moments when it feels like a heavy stone is pressing down on your chest. There will be days when you do not understand why your heart feels like it is collapsing. Those invisible pressures will sometimes make you think you are being crushed, but you must remember this. True strength is not the absence of feeling, but knowing where to return when your soul grows heavy. Remember who I am. I am not the one who stands far away watching you struggle. I am not the one who appears only when everything has already fallen apart. I am in your breath, in every heartbeat you carry through the day. In the rhythm of life that you sometimes forget, I am the one sustaining. I am the quiet source of strength in every fiber of your being, in every nerve, in every motion of your heart, a strength no one sees, yet it has carried you through countless nights of darkness. I am the flame within you, not a loud, blazing fire, but a deep, steady, enduring flame that burns in silence. This flame does not flicker with the winds of life, does not grow weak under fear, and does not go out because of criticism or pressure. That flame is me and you, and as long as I remain in you, the darkness cannot win. I am also the stillness in the center of the storm. You think you must be strong to overcome, but sometimes what you really need is simply to stop and rest in the quiet I place in your heart, that inner place where you are reminded that you are not fighting alone. When you say, "The Lord is with me," all of heaven stirs. Creation recognizes those words. The angels move instantly into position. The darkness immediately retreats. Not because that sentence is some magic charm, but because it is a declaration of a truth that cannot be disputed. Whoever belongs to me will not be handed over to the power of darkness, and whoever walks with me never walks alone. My beloved, remember this every hour, every minute. There is no force on earth, no darkness in the skies, no malicious words spoken by people that can snatch you out of my hand. You belong to me forever, completely, without condition, and I will not allow anything to steal the light I lit inside you from before you even knew how to say your own name. You are mine, and because you are mine, you no longer have to live in anxiety. All you need to do is keep walking. The rest I will take care of. My dear child, do not push yourself into battles that do not belong to you, especially those battlegrounds the darkness has set up to lure you into its traps. You do not need to step onto its territory to prove anything at all. As long as you remain in the light I have given you, the darkness cannot touch you, cannot trace your footsteps, cannot follow you into the place where I am present. Understand this. Darkness is only strong when you agree to play by its rules, but when you choose to stand in the light, it is immediately stripped of its power. It is like someone carrying a great torch into a pitch-black room. Just by your presence, the darkness has already lost. And when you speak words that carry life, the voices that sow death, despair, and condemnation lose all their weight. Your words are powerful not because you are strong, but because you are speaking in line with what I have already declared, and nothing I declare can ever be overcome by the powers of darkness. Remember, your mouth was not created merely to complain or to worry. It was made to proclaim truth, to break every chain, to restore what has been twisted, to set your own soul free from fears that have long taken root. And, my child, every time you choose love instead of clinging to the bitterness that darkness has poured into your heart, you break chains that once seemed impossible to loosen. Hatred can only live where love is lacking, but when you love deeply, love as I love you, love with mercy and generosity, hatred withers like a dead branch with no soil left to grow in. A heart that knows how to love is not a weak heart. It is the bravest of hearts, because it dares to go against the natural urge to retaliate, to harden, to strike back so as not to feel like it is lost. I see in you wounds that have made you think forgiveness means forgetting the pain, but it is not so, my child. Forgiveness means you no longer let that pain dictate your actions, no longer give darkness the right to steer your life. When you forgive, it is not the other person who is set free, it is you who are released. Curses, obsessions, and broken memories that have worn you out will be cut off at the root, because nothing can keep hold of a soul that has chosen to lay down hatred and step into the space of peace I have prepared for you. And listen, my child, every time you choose what is good instead of what is evil, you are doing something heaven itself takes note of. Every time you choose gentleness instead of bitterness, patience instead of impulse, prayer instead of anger, you are winning a spiritual battle that human eyes cannot see. I want you to know that sometimes victory is not found in becoming strong in the way the world defines strength, but in being faithful to do what is right even when your situation pushes you to do the opposite. I see every small choice you make, the choices others overlook, yet I know they have the power to transform your whole inner being. Every time you choose peace over fear, your heart grows more secure, like each stone added to an invisible wall that protects you. Every time you choose mercy over revenge, your heart moves one step closer to mine. Every time you choose gentleness over a raw, instinctive reaction, you open the door for my spirit to work more deeply within you. You think these are small actions, but I tell you the truth. Every work of darkness is defeated by those small acts that carry the substance of heaven. And my child, the greatest power this universe has ever known is not found in a dazzling miracle, not in a grand, earth-shaking battle, and not in some thunderous display that leaves people in awe. That power is found in love. Love is my very nature, my life, the force before which every power of darkness shrinks back. No curse can stand firm before love. No chain can bear the weight of mercy. No attack can cross the boundary of a soul guarded by love. Do you know why? Because love is the one thing darkness cannot understand and cannot imitate. It can counterfeit power, it can counterfeit the sound of logic, it can counterfeit a sense of urgency, but it cannot create love. And when you allow my love to dwell in you, you carry something darkness will never possess, never reach, and never overthrow. I know there are days when you feel so very small, like a leaf in the middle of a great storm, like a child standing in a crowd and no one knows what you are afraid of. There are moments when life presses in so hard that you think you only have enough strength left to survive, not to fight. And I see that, I hear that, I understand that far more deeply than you think. But remember this, the size of the problem does not determine your strength. What determines your strength is the one who walks with you. If you feel small, that is only a feeling. The reality is that you are walking beside the one who made heaven and earth, who calls the stars by name, who holds the oceans in his hand. You are not weak at all when you are in me. You are strong because my spirit is in you, and my spirit does not know what it is to tremble. You think you are walking alone, but in truth, every step you take is accompanied by my footprints, walking beside you, covering you, going ahead of you and making a way. So you do not need strange rituals that people believe will give them protection. You do not need to keep objects that people secretly pass around, saying they will make the darkness afraid. And you certainly do not need to rely on shields made by human hands to keep you from danger. All those things only make your mind more tangled, more burdened, more fearful. Do you know where your true refuge is? In my word, for my word is not just letters on a page, but breath, authority, and light. In your faith, for faith is the door that allows me to work powerfully in your life. In the peace I place within your heart, for peace is not the absence of problems, but stillness in the middle of the storm. And in the love you carry, for love is the shield that makes every dark arrow bounce back. My child, let my word shine into your very self. Let faith become the pillar that upholds your soul. Let my peace guide your steps, and let my love flow through you like a river that never runs dry. When you do that, you do not merely survive in the midst of the darkness, you overcome it without striving. You do not only remain standing, you shine. You are not only protected, you become a protector for others. You are not only loved, you become one who spreads that love. And this precisely is the true destiny I have placed on your life. Not only to be one who is kept, but one who is sent. Not only to receive the light, but to carry the light. Not only to live in me, but to make those around you know that I am living in you. My child, do not let your eyes close under the weight of dark obsessions, nor strain wide open because of things that exist only inside your own worries. When you keep staring at negative things, they will swell within you like shadows that know how to pretend they are strong. But when you turn your eyes toward me, all of that instantly shrinks back to its true size, small, weak, and powerless before the one who breathed life into your frame. You were not born to live by the rhythm of fear. You were born to live by my presence. Lift up your eyes, even just a little, and you will see I am never as far from you as you have imagined. I am standing right at the edge of your anxiety, simply waiting for you to turn and see me. There may still be questions in your heart that have not yet been answered, wounds that have not yet been mended, pains you do not know how to share with anyone. But, my child, not a single whisper from the forces of darkness can ever overrule my decree. Every action of those who carry evil intent is nothing but a broken arrow that shatters before it can reach your garment. Every curse that darkness tries to sow along your path is nothing more than a pebble thrown against the wall of light I have raised around you. People may say harsh things. Darkness may murmur words that make your heart hesitate. But I am still the one who speaks the final word, and the word I speak never returns empty. Every time a hidden curse is released into the air against you, I pour out a blessing so abundant that it suffocates every evil plan. You have no idea how many invisible arrows I have blocked, how many silent traps I have removed, how many schemes I have shattered before you ever saw them. I do all this not because you are more deserving than others, but because you belong to me. Do not fear the schemes of people or the dark intentions they may form, for before they are even drawn up, I already know. Before they are carried out, I have already neutralized them. Before they can reach you, I have already raised a wall of light that will not let them come one step closer. You walk not in randomness or luck, but in my unchanging power. You have never stepped into a single day where I was not standing there before you and behind you, on your left and on your right. The peace I send you is not a passing feeling, but the very atmosphere of heaven wrapping around your soul, making you stand firm when others tremble, keeping you calm when circumstances try to knock you down. You need only call on me, and the darkness will dissolve. You need only whisper, "Lord, please help me," and the storm that is roaring will twist and fall silent like a beast that has been tamed. It is not because you have the power to command the storm, but because I, the one who upholds the universe by my word, am with you. Do not let your mind be drained dry by the things darkness boasts about. It only inflates its own voice to make you think it is drawing near. The truth is, it trembles when it sees my light growing within you. Every time you rise again after you stumble, the darkness grows weaker. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of feeding your anger, it loses a piece of the ground it wants to occupy. Every time you choose to trust instead of to doubt, it is pushed back like a thief exposed by the light. And every time you say, "Lord, I trust you," my angels raise another wall of fire around you. You must understand that this battle is not won by sheer strength, but by where you place your trust. When you place your trust in me, victory already belongs to you even while you are still shaking. You are carrying in your heart far more than you dare to put into words, the worries, the pressures, the voices that exhaust you, the inner battles no one ever sees, the questions you keep to yourself because you do not want anyone to know you are weak. But I know it all. I know every thought you try to push away but cannot, every fragment of memory that makes you sigh when it surfaces, every word you wanted to say but swallowed back down. Those things that seem so small to you are, in my eyes, an entire inner world in need of healing. I do not love you less in your weakness. I love you in the fullest way when you admit that you need me. Do not think you are fighting by yourself. You are not carrying your burdens alone. You are walking a path in which every step has been arranged by me. What you face today is not meant to destroy you, but to build up a strength inside you that you never knew you had. I use pressure to shape your soul. I use trials to carve my glory into you. I use hard days to build a heart that knows compassion, endurance, and deep resilience. I do not waste your pain. I turn it into the foundation for the strength that is coming. All you need to do is hold my hand, and every storm will become a classroom made just for you. My beloved child, your mind often rushes to magnify what darkness might do, yet forgets to magnify what I am already doing. You think much about risks and dangers, but you reflect very little on the blessings that are pouring toward you. You remember the threats of the world, yet overlook my promises, promises that have never failed, never changed, never arrived too late. I am at work in your life, even when you are too busy or too burdened to notice, protecting you on your journeys, covering you from slanderous words, keeping your feet from relationships that would lead you astray, closing doors that you once wanted to force open at any cost. You see these as failures, but I know them as preservation. You must learn to see life through my hand, rather than through the lens of your own judgment. You do not know what will happen tomorrow, but you know the one who holds tomorrow. You cannot see the entire road, but you can see me, the one who goes before you, and that alone is enough for you to be at peace. Peace does not come from knowing everything, but from knowing that I am still in control of everything. Do not worry about what darkness might do, for it can do nothing unless I allow it, but set your mind instead on what I am doing. I am shaping you to become stronger, wiser, more discerning, more awake. I am making a way in the wilderness, planting life in the dry places of your soul. I am teaching you to recognize the true voice, my voice, amid the chaos of 1,000 noisy sounds. That is worth more than the whole world. My beloved child, I see all the anxieties in your heart. I do not condemn them. I gather up each one to dissolve it in my love. You need only believe that no worry lies beyond my reach. No trial is without my presence. No cry of yours goes unheard by me. No fear exists that I cannot cover with my own peace. You belong to me, and because you belong to me, no power can snatch you out of my hand. My child, I know there are moments in your heart that are so quiet yet so heavy, when your mind wonders whether darkness can slip into your life through hatred, resentment, or the curses that others put on their lips. I see the nights when you lie still, unnoticed by anyone, facing by yourself an unease, small as a drop of water yet falling without end. You do not say it out loud, but I clearly hear your heart trying to find an answer, like a child looking out into the night yard, worried that something might be lurking there. My child, I come to lift that burden from your shoulders and place in your hands the truth that will keep you standing firm, even if everything around you changes. There is no force of darkness, however many masks it may wear, that can set foot in your life while I am with you. It has no right to touch you, no right to lay a hand on your breath, no right to open any door in your life unless I speak a word of permission. And do you know, I do not grant darkness the permission to do the things you fear. It cannot cross the boundary of light I have set around you, for my name itself is a wall of fire before which every evil power must draw back. Think about it, my child. If the power of the enemy were truly greater than the light I give, why would it need to hide, to plot, to threaten from the shadows? It survives because people believe it is strong, because they allow it into their minds through worry and an undisciplined imagination. But, my child, wherever my name begins, there the power of darkness ends. It may seethe, it may rage, it may hurl countless threats, but all of that is only like a weak gust of wind striking a cliff and then fading away. Before those schemes can even take shape, I have already broken them in the unseen realm. Before they can come near you, I have already laid my hand upon your life and declared that you belong to me, not to any accusation from the darkness. Do you know that when I stand on your side, every opposition is already weakened before it even begins? It is not because you are strong, but because this battle has never been decided by your strength. It is determined by my presence. You often imagine darkness attacking with terrifying things, but in truth, it attacks through doubt. It does not need to make you crumble. It only needs to make you think that I am not near, and that alone is enough to make you tremble. But I want you to know this, that trembling does not come from the darkness. It comes from forgetting how great your own light really is. I did not place in you a spirit that cowers, shrinks back, and fears every sound. I placed in you strength so that you would know you are not living in a posture of helplessness. I placed in you love so that you do not react with hatred or panic, and I placed in you clarity so you can discern which voice is mine and which whisper belongs to those things that want to pull you away from peace. You are not someone with a timid heart. You carry within you the power of the one who created the entire universe and calls you by name. When you fear that the ill will of others can harm you, you are overestimating them and underestimating me. It is true that there are people who do not like you. There are those who envy the light within you because they do not understand where it comes from. There are those who want to see you fall so they can feel taller. But I want you to see them as I do. They are simply souls who are lost, struggling in their own darkness, not beings who can threaten the destiny I have placed over your life. Do not let your heart tremble because of someone's bitter words, for they themselves do not understand what they are sowing into their own future. You are different. You are called to walk in the light, not to carry the weight of what others say. Learn to look to me before you look at your circumstances. Darkness will try to magnify itself, but it cannot touch the part of you that you have placed in my hands. A child is not afraid of the night when it is resting in its father's arms, because it knows that the dark is only frightening when it stands alone. So it is with you. When you are in me, you do not stand alone. I am the one who shelters, who leads, who guards, who stands between you and every opposing power. My name is a hedge that the enemy does not dare cross, for even if it shouts loudly, it still trembles before my presence. It knows you are part of the light that it can never swallow. It knows I have placed a seal upon you, a seal that darkness cannot erase. You must understand that this battle is not a battle of feelings, it is a battle of faith. If you believe that darkness can harm you, you will live inside a fear that you yourself have built. But if you believe me, if you remember that I always go before you, always stand beside you, always guard behind you, then even when darkness tries to brush the edges of your light, it will not know where to set its foot. I want you to believe this so deeply that it becomes the natural rhythm of your heart. No power can touch the child I love unless I have spoken, and I do not speak such a thing to terrify you. I speak it so that you may be free. Let me say this to you as an unchanging promise. I give you a soul made to love, not to shrink back, a spirit of strength, not a spirit that runs away, a clear mind to discern what comes from me and what is only a shadow cast by lies. When you stand in truth, every threat dissolves like smoke. When you stand in love, every attack of words is left exposed and empty. When you stand in clarity, every scheme is uncovered before it is fully formed. I want you to stand on that foundation so that your heart will no longer be shaken. And my child, I want you to go beyond fear. I want you to live with the confidence of one who knows they are protected. I want you to step into each day with the certainty that I have gone ahead of you. I want you to see every challenge as a chance for the light within you to shine more brightly. Darkness cannot touch you when you remember who you are. You are the one I have chosen, the one I preserve, the one I called by name before you were formed in your mother's womb. You belong to me, and darkness cannot steal what belongs to me. So walk as one who carries the light, steady, gentle, full of love, and overflowing with the peace that only I can give. My beloved child, whenever fear comes knocking at the door of your heart, do not rush to tremble. Do not hastily slam the door or pretend it does not exist. Let it stand there, and then answer it with the faith I have planted in you since the first days you learned to call my name. Faith is not a shout, not a show, not a forced bravado. Faith is simply a choice, the choice to look at me instead of staring at the shadow that is trying to intimidate you. When you open your mouth to pray in the midst of anxious whispers, your mind takes back the ground that fear is trying to seize. Prayer is not a ritual, not a string of empty sounds. Prayer is the sigh you lift up to me, the acknowledgement that you cannot fight alone, the way you draw me into every moment in which you feel weak, and when you begin to open your heart in gratitude to me, while your heart is still heavy, you will discover what those who are panicking cannot see. Gratitude has the power to tear apart the invisible chains that are trying to bind your soul. A heart overflowing with gratitude is an invincible warrior, because gratitude keeps reminding you that I am in control of all things, reminding you that what you do not yet understand is still within my plan, reminding you that in the midst of all upheaval, I have not left you, not even for a single moment. When you let thanksgiving fill you instead of complaint, your entire inner world changes. And it is that very change that leaves fear with nowhere to cling. You will stand firm like a pillar in the storm, not because you are strong, but because you know you are standing on a rock that can never be moved. My little child, I want you to walk without hiding the light I have placed within you. There are moments when you try to shrink yourself, afraid that if you live in the very nature I created in you, the darkness will notice you, will try to strike you down, will make you even more weary. But child, light is not born to withdraw, light is born to shine. You do not hide your light out of humility, but because fear is making you forget to whom you belong. When you shine, the darkness does not rush in to devour you. The darkness falls back. It falls back not because you attack it fiercely, but because light never bows before the shadows. I want you to understand that what makes the darkness tremble is not shouting or fiery resistance. What makes it tremble is the peace of those who know that I am living within them. When you keep your soul in love, loving even when you are misunderstood, loving even when you are despised, loving even when you yourself are in pain, then every small act of yours becomes a blow against the very darkness that is trying to make you stumble. Many claim to be strong, boasting that they can manipulate the souls of others with rituals, threats, and dark secrets woven from the world. But, child, that is not power. It is only smoke blown up to cover the emptiness inside them. True power does not come from the night. True power comes from the purity I build in those who belong to me. The truly strong one is not the one who knows how to wield mystery, but the one who keeps a kind heart while being bruised and beaten, who holds on to patience when no one stands on their side anymore, who knows how to bow and forgive even when others feel no remorse. Think about it. Who is truly more fearsome, the one who can lay traps or the one who can love even while being betrayed? Darkness can deceive people with cheap imitations of power, but it can never reproduce love. It can never create peace. It can never give birth to forgiveness, because these things do not belong to it. They come from me. And when you live out what flows from me, you become something the darkness cannot touch. You do not need to shout that you are fighting. You do not need to act fierce to prove that you are not afraid. True strength is not loud. True strength is calm in moments when others are in chaos. True strength is when you know you have the right to strike back, but you choose not to. True strength is when you stand still in peace while everything around you is screaming. I am not asking you to become a warrior as the world defines it. I want you to become a warrior in my way, not attacking with your fists, but with kindness, not winning by violence, but by a steadfastness that does not waver, not frightening the darkness by rage, but by a presence filled with grace. Child, there is a truth many people overlook. Darkness is afraid of light, but it is even more afraid of those who know that the light is within them. A person who carries light yet does not know they have it still trembles, still feels confused, still wonders whether they are strong enough. But the one who knows that I am living in them, who knows that the light not only shines around them but flows within them, that person walks with a different bearing that the darkness cannot understand. They do not react out of fear. They simply live according to the nature I have given them, live with genuine love, live with deep gratitude, live with a humility that makes the darkness cautious. It is that very life which destroys every work of the shadows. My dear child, you have never fully realized the strength I have placed in you, not the kind of strength that turns you into someone superhuman, but the strength that allows you to pass through things others thought you could never endure, the strength that keeps your heart soft in a hardened world, the strength that keeps you from turning bitter even when you have every reason to be, the strength that lets you still know how to smile even after your tears have fallen until they ran dry. These are the things darkness cannot explain, because it believes that a wounded heart must become fierce or empty. But when I am in you, that heart is never abandoned, never left to drift with the current of life. It is refined in the fire, not to become cold stone, but to become a flame that never goes out. And child, remember this always. Sacred strength is not something you have to force into being. It is what flows naturally when you allow me to be Lord in your heart. When you let me live in you, every battle is no longer yours alone. Every fear no longer stands before you, but stands before me. Every power does not confront you, but confronts the very one who created all things. So never doubt that you are alone. You are not alone, and you will never be alone. I am always in you. I am your strength. I am the breath that keeps you standing. I am the light that never goes out in your soul. And as long as you let me lead the way, you will live as the person I intended you to. Be not a victim of the darkness, but a light that makes the darkness tremble. My beloved child, do not let your mind be dragged into shadowy regions your eyes cannot see, because precisely in the places you cannot see, I see the clearest of all, so clear that not a single movement in the unseen realm can escape my attention. You only see a piece of the picture, a thin slice of time, but I see the whole panorama, from what is being prepared in the dark to what is about to burst forth in the light. There are snares others have set. There are silent schemes you would never expect, yet not one trap can take root when I have already set my foot upon the road you walk. Every snare woven by ill intent, I see it before it ever comes close to your shadow. I clear it away, I break it apart, I turn it to dust before it can cause even the smallest stumble. You think you have made it through by your own quickness, but in truth I have been one step ahead of you, sweeping away troubles your eyes could never have noticed. When someone uses twisted words or veiled remarks to belittle you, I hear it all, and turn even those words into the very material that will lift you up. Not every word spoken by people carries authority. Authority belongs only to me, the one who can turn plots into blessing, who can turn harsh words into a cool stream for your soul. You keep thinking you face everything alone, but in reality you are being guarded more closely than you could ever imagine. Many times the darkness tries to sneak a snare right in front of your next step, hoping you will accidentally walk into it and then blame me for not protecting you. But every time it prepares to set its trap, I am already there, standing between you and that plan, pulling its hand away, tearing apart the cords it meant to wrap around you. You do not know how many times I have covered the ground before you, turning the pit that others dug for your fall into nothing more than an empty, harmless space. Sometimes I erase the trace of the snare so completely that if you look back, you would not even know you had just been rescued once again. I do this not to make you afraid, but so that you may understand that you are living under my meticulous care and understanding. No attack, however clever, can slip through the shield I have raised around you. You are not walking beneath a gloomy sky, but under the covering of the light I have wrapped around you like a cloak. When you trust me, what you receive is not only safety, you receive an invisible radiance that the realm of darkness cannot pierce. That light is not merely the light of fleeting emotions, it is the light of my very presence within your soul. I place that light on you, not moment by moment, but with every breath, every decision, every thought. One who carries this light does not walk like someone afraid. They walk as one who has every reason to lift their head, because they know who is standing behind them, leading the way. I have chosen you, covered you, and set you in a place where the darkness cannot deceive you with its cheap designs. From the very moment you whispered your trust, that light blazed up around you like a glowing fortress, and no power has the right to take away the light I have given. The only thing that can make it seem dimmer is the trembling in your own heart, but even then, I do not condemn you. I know there are days when you carry a tired heart, when you feel the light inside you pulling back, growing smaller, as if it is about to fade under the weight of anxiety. But my child, the light I placed in you is not a fragile oil lamp that goes out at the first gust of wind. It is a flame born from my very breath, So even when you think you are about to burn out, I am still the one keeping it alive by my power. I am always there, rekindling that flame for you not once, but again and again, over and over, without weariness and without discouragement. You do not know that your weakness does not drive me away. It draws me closer. Every time you tremble with fear, I lay my hand on your heart. Every time you cry over something you cannot even name, I pour my own peace into the cracks opening in your soul. Every time you feel you have nothing left to rise with, I use a small word, a gentle comfort, an unexpected goodness to pull you up out of the mud. You may fall very deep, but you will never fall out of my hand. You may doubt, but your doubt does not make me turn my face away. You may blame yourself for being weak, but I know that a heart that grows tired is a heart that is real. I have never expected you to be perfect. I only want you to let me step into the places you dare not let anyone else see. Think about it. Is there anyone but me who knows every crack in your soul, who knows each time you smile on the outside, while inside you are afraid that others might see you shaking? Is there anyone but me who knows every tear you try to swallow back each night? Is there anyone but me who knows the hidden questions you never dare put into words? And my child, I do not only know I tend to every one of those things. I do not allow anything in you to be abandoned. My love is not a love that comes once and then leaves. It is a stream that keeps flowing, even in drought, even when your heart feels bone dry. You must remember this. The secret of strength is not that you never fall, but that every time you fall straight into my arms. I lift you up not because you are more worthy than others, but because you are my child, and because you belong to me. No power can define your life by failure or loss. You are not called by the names of the mistakes you have made. You are called by the name I gave you before you ever came into being. I do not only measure hope back into your heart, I rebuild the things that have shattered, I raise up the things that have collapsed, and I heal even the wounds you yourself believe could never be healed. You think you are cracked, but I see the potential to blossom. You think you are broken, but I see a new horizon behind it all. You think you are not enough, but I see the light you carry, a light that can change the very atmosphere of every place you step into. So, my beloved child, stop fixing your gaze on the things that frighten you and turn your eyes back to me, the one who not only shields you from the darkness, but also leads you into the land where the light within you can spread to those who are in despair. You are not only saved, you are chosen to shine, not merely to survive, but to become a living testimony that my love is stronger than every opposing force. And rest in this: nothing threatens you without my knowledge. Nothing stalks you that I have not already stepped in front of. Nothing tries to harm you that I cannot turn into good for you. You are walking a journey where I am at once your protector, your road maker, and the one who rekindles the light within you every single day. And as you keep walking, you will come to understand that you have never walked alone, not for a single second. My beloved child, there will be moments in this life when your heart is so still that those around you must stop and look at you in amazement, even with a bit of doubt, because they cannot understand how, in the midst of bad news pouring in the middle of tangled situations that seem to have no way out, under the weight of worries that everyone feels like a stone pressing on their chest, you can still walk calmly as though nothing can shake your heart. They do not know that this peace is not something you worked hard to create, nor is it because you are stronger than others, but because I, myself, am carrying you on my powerful and merciful shoulders. You are not walking through the storm on your own. You are sitting in my arms without even realizing it. I lift you higher than the waves, higher than the wind, higher than every panic pounding against your life. I hold you, as a father carries his little child on his back so the child can see the world from a higher place. where every danger is reduced to distant echoes that no longer have the power to terrify. And this is how I choose to reveal my power in your life, not through earth-shaking events that leave people stunned, but through a peace that sinks to the marrow of your bones in those who lean on me. The world keeps chasing after great signs, spectacular miracles, thunderous sounds that shake the sky, clear proofs the eyes can see, but I delight in showing my strength in quiet stillness, where your heart stands firm in the storm without losing its tenderness. The peace within you is the proof that I am right there, so close that my breath mingles with your own. And when the world tells stories about darkness, when people sow in your ears their rumors about forces they do not understand, about hidden deeds happening somewhere, about witchcraft or curses they believe can harm you, do not let your heart tremble. Remember that darkness is powerful only to those who do not yet know the light, but for you, one whom I have cherished and chosen, it has no rightful place. I want you to smile softly as a passing breeze and say in your heart, then say it aloud, and keep saying it until it becomes a truth carved deep in your soul. The Lord, my God, is greater than anything I hear, anything I see, anything people may use to try to frighten me. Do not say it as if you are trying to fight back. Say it as an affirmation, a reminder to yourself of the one who reigns within your heart. Let every time you speak it be another layer added to the wall of faith around your life, higher and stronger, unshakable. That wall is not made of stone or steel, but of absolute trust, of my words engraved in your mind, of the light I have placed in your very bones, of the love with which I enfold your whole being. I want you to know that every time you think of me, in the moments when life is tipping and swaying, you do not just find strength, you are also drawing on a measure of authority by which heaven itself operates. You do not become strong by bracing yourself, but because your soul is connected to a source that never runs dry, the source that flows from my own heart. Every time you call on me, every time you whisper my name, every time you turn the eyes of your heart toward me, you are pulling heaven closer into your everyday life. You may feel that your prayers are so small, your words not long, sometimes even incomplete, but to me, each one sounds like thunder in the unseen realm. You cannot see, but I see. You cannot hear, but heaven hears. Darkness will never acknowledge it, but it trembles at every word you pray. My child, every act of kindness you do, no matter how small you think it is, as if no one will ever notice, is like you lighting another flame in the invisible circle of light surrounding you. When you manage a smile on days when your soul feels unbearably heavy, when you reach out a hand to help someone while you yourself are still struggling, when you choose to forgive even after something has hurt you to the point of choking, when you answer with gentleness instead of reacting in anger, all these things are fire. Fire does not need to shout, yet it blazes and drives back the darkness with a fierce quietness. The fire of goodness, the fire of faithfulness, the fire of love, the fire of mercy that I have breathed into you. You cannot see that circle of fire with your physical eyes, but the spiritual world sees it clearly. And it is that very ring of fire that keeps the darkness from drawing near, from touching your soul, from stepping onto the ground I have made holy by my presence in your life. You think your strength comes from doing something great? No, true strength comes from choosing what is good each day, even when no one is watching. Do you want to know why the enemy fears those who are compassionate? Because compassion does not belong to its territory. It cannot understand it, cannot imitate it, cannot invade it. A person who knows how to love is a person untouchable in the deepest part of their soul. A person who chooses to live kindly is someone the darkness cannot influence, because they are walking in the rhythm of the light. Every good and loving act you do is like placing another bright stone along the path I am opening before you, so that wherever you go, you leave footprints of life behind. My child, you do not know how strong you really are. You do not live in peace because you are pretending to be strong. No, you are at peace because you are resting in my arms. You are not courageous because you force yourself not to be afraid. No, you are courageous because I stand in front of you and all you have to do is follow. You are not the one struggling to get through. No, it is I who am carrying you through, and I want you to etch this into your heart. You are not at peace because life is easy. You are at peace because I am living in you. You do not stand firm because everything is smooth and quiet. You stand firm because I am upholding you from within. You are not strong because you are flawless. You are strong because you carry my spirit, and my spirit never trembles. So when others look at you and ask why you are still so calm, just smile. When they wonder why you are not afraid of what everyone else fears, let them see that your peace flows from a source they do not yet know. When they cannot understand why your heart is not swept away by the storm, let your very presence become the answer. And when the darkness tries to frighten you with invisible threats, whisper not to provoke, but to affirm, "My God is greater than everything." You say this not to appear strong, but so that your soul remembers the truth I placed within you from the first moment you existed. You say this not because you never feel afraid, but because you know that every time you speak it, I draw near, and every time I draw near, fear has to flee. My beloved child, keep walking, keep your heart tender, shine in the way you were created to shine. Live out of the peace I give and the love I pour out. All of heaven stands with you, and the darkness knows this more clearly than anyone. My child, I never leave you to face anything on your own. Even when you think you are standing alone in the middle of a storm, even when you feel as if trials are closing in on every side, pressing hard against your fragile soul, I have never taken my eyes off you, not for a single moment. When you open your eyes to greet a new day, I am there before you. When you close them again to seek a little rest, I am still there beside you. When you drag your feet through heavy days that no one else sees, I match every step of yours as the one who never grows weary. My presence does not always show itself in loud signs. It hides in the smallest of things, in the gentle breath you hardly notice, which I am sustaining, in the sudden quiet that stops your tears, which is my arm wrapping around your heart, in the strength you find again at the very moment you thought you had no way to stand up, which is the support I have placed in your soul. You do not see me with your eyes, but you have felt me in every moment when you wanted to collapse, yet kept going, in every moment when you trembled yet did not fall, in every moment when you thought you were about to give up yet still managed one more step. None of this is random. It is the imprint of my footsteps in your life. Remember this one thing that the world so often makes you forget. My strength is not confined by places or circumstances. Even if you are sitting in a dark room, even if you feel trapped by worries with no way out, my light still pierces the thickest veils of night. Darkness has no substance of its own. It exists only where light is absent. And when I come, the darkness does not retreat because I shout at it, but because its very nature cannot exist alongside me. It dissolves like mist in the morning sun quietly, without resistance, leaving no trace behind. So when you feel as if you are in the middle of a battle, in truth that battle has already been decided from the very moment you call my name in faith, even if that faith is no bigger than a whispered word. In the unseen realm, my name resounds like a blazing light that makes every evil flee before you even realize it was there. You are not the one who wins by your own might. You overcome because you belong to the one who has already won. And because you are mine, there are things I want you to live out in the way of light, not in the way of fear. I want you to be bold, not because this life is easy, but because you know you are sheltered. I want you to love deeply, not because everyone is worthy of love, but because my love flowing through you will heal the places you touch. I want you to forgive freely, not because you must appear noble, but because your heart needs to be released from invisible chains. I want you to pray without ceasing, not so that I can find out what you need, for I knew it before you did, but so that your soul remains joined to my inexhaustible strength. When you love more deeply, forgive more generously, and pray more sincerely, you are holding in your hands weapons the darkness cannot withstand. Guard your thoughts, for what you think becomes the soil where seeds of life or seeds of death are sown. When your mind is filled with pure intentions, light will grow through every small action you take. When your intentions are gentle and kind, you will become a place of rest where others can find peace. When your heart is full of gratitude, darkness loses its grip, because gratitude dries up every root of bitterness and leaves fear with nowhere to hide. Know that every time you choose what is right, you are walking with me, even when you are not aware of it, and when you walk with me, nothing in this universe, no power of darkness, no threat from the world can harm your soul. I do not protect you by placing you where there are no trials. I protect you by placing my presence in the very midst of your trials. My child, many times you think you are fighting alone because all you can hear is the tired beating of your own heart. But I fight for you with a silence that terrifies the darkness. I protect you by standing between you and every intent that seeks to harm you. I do not need to create thunder to prove that I am strong, nor do I need to shake the earth so that you know I am at work. Sometimes all I need to do is plant one hopeful thought in your heart at the right moment, or stir a small wave of peace in your mind in the middle of chaos, or cause you to remember a verse of Scripture just when you are about to give up. All these small things carry a power far greater than any loud miracle the world expects. I do not want you to believe that I only move when something spectacular happens. I am at work even in those moments when you think nothing has changed. Remember that fear always grows in the silence where you are not looking at me, like a shadow that swells huge on the wall because the light is cast from the wrong angle. Fear magnifies what is not real when your eyes remain fixed on it. But once you turn your gaze toward me, the darkness shrinks like something drained of all its strength. It is not that you are stronger than the darkness, but that I am stronger than everything. You do not need to seize victory by yourself. You only need to take your place, the place of one who belongs to the light. When you stand in the light, you are already on the winning side, because darkness cannot remain where the light stands. Therefore, I want you to live without straining to keep yourself together, without chasing after fragile feelings of safety, without dragging yourself through each day with useless anxieties. Your life was designed to be filled with peace, for your heart to be light, for your mind to be clear. I do not want you to grip the sword with trembling hands. I want you to hold it with a heart that firmly trusts I am standing behind you. I do not want you to wear the shield like someone afraid of being attacked. I want you to lift it as one who knows they cannot be defeated. When you understand that my protection does not depend on your emotions but rests on my unchanging nature, you will find yourself at peace even in the darkest of days. My beloved child, I long for you to understand that walking with me does not mean walking a path without sorrow, without trials, without inner struggles. Walking with me means journeying along a road where, even if it leads through the valley of death, you do not tremble, because you know whose hand is holding yours. Walking with me means stepping forward in the certainty that your future has been shaped by a love that cannot be shaken. Walking with me means knowing that even when you cannot yet see change, it does not mean I am not at work. And walking with me means you can breathe easily, lay your burdens down, and live with your heart wide open because you are not abandoned. So live boldly, my child. Love without holding back. Forgive without fearing that you will be the one who loses. Pray without hesitation to pour out your heart. When you live like that, you reflect me more clearly than ever. And when you reflect me, nothing can touch your soul. You belong to me, and whoever belongs to me, no power can snatch from my hand. My child, there are days when your heart feels as if it is lying in the middle of a raging storm, when everything around you seems to rise up at once and wants to sweep you into a freezing void where there is no longer any direction. You feel like a small boat on a vast expanse of water, seeing threat wherever you look, and there are even moments when you truly believe that just one more wave will be enough to sink you. But I want you to know a truth that the storm does not want you to hear. You cannot be drowned while my hand rests upon you. The waves may rise, but they cannot go beyond the limit I allow. The wind may howl, but it cannot break your soul when that soul is anchored in me. Even the deafening noises of the night are nothing but empty echoes when I stand right beside you and declare that the storm will pass and you will remain standing. Night may draw its curtain, but darkness never holds eternal rule. It can only exist for as long as I permit it to appear, and it cannot last even 1 second beyond that. Dawn does not come by accident. It is the promise I have set in the order of the universe. In the same way, in your life, every trial has its stopping point, every fear has its boundary, every night has a fading moment when it must surrender its place to the light I am preparing to shine forth. Remember this, even when you cannot feel me, I am still guiding your every breath, still carving a path through the darkness, still watching over everything that could cause you to collapse. There is no night so long that it can destroy a dawn I have appointed, and no darkness so deep that it can swallow the child I am protecting. You are the one I cherish, not because you are perfect, but because I have placed upon you the seal of my choosing. I do not lead you out of darkness by your own strength. I cover you with the light that comes from me. You stand in the light not because of your own might, but because my power flows through every small thing you do in faith. It is not that you are stronger than the darkness, but that I am strong within you. It is not that you build a wall to protect yourself, but that I raise an invisible fortress around your life, and because this source of strength does not belong to you, it cannot be exhausted. It does not depend on your moods, your feelings, or your momentary steadiness. It depends on me, the one who does not change, does not grow weary, does not fail, and does not withdraw the hand that has shielded you. Darkness can raise up illusions to make you believe that you are standing alone, that one person's words can make you fall, that someone's evil intention can drag you away from the path on which I am leading you. But I ask you this: how can darkness defeat someone with whom I am walking? How can a human intention overrule the intention I have for you? How can a soul still entangled in the night destroy what I have formed with my very breath? If the enemy wants to defeat you, he must get past me first, and that can never happen in any era, any circumstance, or any world. He trembles before my presence, and he knows that the child I hold in my hand is not a target he has the right to touch. I am the one whose power has no limit. That power does not fade with time, does not weaken by the century, does not change with human emotions. I am not like earthly rulers who use their authority according to their moods. My power is as steady as the breath of the universe and as firm as my own word. You do not need to guess whether I will protect you or not. I have spoken, and my word becomes law over the very circumstance you are facing. I do not change whenever you are afraid. I remain unshaken, majestic, and guarding you. You only need to remember that I have chosen you, and that choosing cannot be revoked. The love I have for you is an armor stronger than any metal humanity has ever known. It is not pierced by insults, not worn down by time, not shattered by hatred, and not twisted by any dark force. You wear it every day, whether you are aware of it or not. It wraps around you like a wall of fire, keeping the enemy far enough away that he cannot wound you. The peace I give you is the crown I place upon your head so that you remember you belong to heaven, not to fear. It is the mark by which you are recognized before sun and moon, before angels and demons, before life and death. That crown is not meant to make you proud. It is meant to remind you that you are protected, loved, kept, and given the inheritance of my child. Walk, then, with the confidence that comes from knowing whose hand you rest in, not the bravado of those who pretend to be strong, but the steadiness of one who knows they are being kept. Look ahead with a calm spirit, for you do not walk alone. Stand tall, not to show off, but to show that you trust what I say more than what your eyes see. As you walk in that peaceful faith, you will see that everything trying to threaten you becomes small, not because circumstances change in an instant, but because the lens through which you see life is changed by faith. You will see that the enemy's strength exists only in the imagination of those who have forgotten who the true ruler is. The world may not understand you. They may look at you and shake their heads, thinking you are strange, too trusting, too simple, or too different. But heaven knows exactly who you are. I know your name, I know your story, I know the tears you hide, and I know the quiet victories no one else ever sees. The angels rejoice not because you are never afraid, but because every time you are afraid, you choose to trust me more. They see you stand firm in moments when others expect you to fall, and they praise me because the strength I give you is never shaken. When you choose peace instead of panic, all of heaven witnesses the maturing of a soul that is becoming resilient. When you resist fear with a faith that is small but sincere, you make darkness tremble, for it knows you no longer belong to it. My child, I want you to understand this as clearly as fire carved into stone. Darkness does not define you. Fear has no right to decide your direction. Other people's words do not determine your worth. Stumbling does not turn you into a failure. Betrayal cannot steal the love I have for you. Trials cannot cut off my faithfulness. You are written into my eternal plan by the pen of my power, not by the shaky strokes of circumstance. You belong to the light, and that light does not merely surround you. It flows through you. It spreads out from you, making you a small but persistent flame in a world full of wind. Therefore, stand firm, walk on, and lift your head in a humility that is nonetheless unshakable. No one else needs to understand you. It is enough that I understand you. No one else needs to support you. It is enough that heaven recognizes you. No one else needs to praise you. It is enough that I am pleased with you. You are not walking so that the world will approve you. You walk because I have set your steps on the path of light. Before you lift up your words, let your heart grow still. Lay down every fear and open your soul before me. Then pray with all the sincerity that is alive within you. Almighty God, I come before you with a heart full of cracks that I have hidden for far too long. Please look into every wound, every fear, and every tear I have tried to keep from everyone's eyes. I ask you to cover me with your mighty light, a light that can pierce through every darkness that is trying to cling to my soul. Please restore the flame within me, the flame that once burned brightly but has grown weary under the weight of life. Place your hand upon my heart and make it beat in rhythm with your peace, so that I may walk as one who carries light and not as one who trembles. I believe you are keeping watch over me even in the places I cannot see. Almighty Heavenly Father, I surrender to you all the anxieties from which I cannot free myself. Please dismantle every invisible snare that is waiting to make me stumble. Open my eyes so that I may see the unseen yet powerful protection that surrounds me each day. Heal the wounds in me that have been formed by words, by looks, or by betrayals I have suffered. Grant me the strength to rise above everything that is trying to make me doubt the worth of my own life. I believe that you love me with a love that never fades. Loving Father, I thank you because you have seen every fragile fear within me and have never abandoned them to themselves. You break the traps I do not even know about and clear away the dangers I cannot see. I thank you for the light you keep within me, even on the days when I am weary. You do not leave me in the darkness, but lead me gently into the warm radiance of your presence. I know that nothing in this life can be hidden from your eyes. I know I am sheltered because you love me with a love that never changes. Almighty God, I thank you because every moment you guard me as the apple of your eye. Thank you for turning words meant for harm into words of blessing, for turning attacks into growth, and for turning darkness into opportunities for your light to blaze forth within me. I am grateful that fear no longer has the right to dim the light you have given. You have patiently kept the flame burning in me, even when I have been exhausted again and again. I cannot help but be grateful, for your love is far too great. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and growing community of faith.